running with the power. Every day, dollar just they get it higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder, oh, yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses.
That's right. Ekason, Ekaro, Ekale, good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you, from wherever you are watching from. And this is Mayegun Live. Although we are starting late and I ran into a bit of a technical glitch when we, that actually caused us to be delayed. However, I have managed to get hang on, let me see. Yeah, I have with me on this platform right now, Professor Banji Akintoye, the Ilana Omo Odua worldwide, and at the same time is partner, which I can say another powerful person, Professor Wale Adeniran. So I have these two powerful men on Mayegun's Diary Political today who are going to be discussing with me a lot on the self-determination struggle of the Yoruba people. How are we forging on and forging ahead now that Oloye Sunday Igboho has been freed? Then that we experienced a little bit of a setback in the self-determination advocacy back then. So I'm not going to delay you for too long, so we can just get it started with. If you are unable to watch me on Facebook right now, Facebook just sent me a message that they want me, they have me suspended for another 30 days, whatever that means. But you can join me on YouTube, or you can tell everyone to join us on YouTube this afternoon. So without wasting much of our time, I have here Professor Banji Akintoye and Professor Adeniran Adewale. They are going to be talking with me and with all of us all over the world this afternoon about the latest or the progress as well as the way forward on this Yoruba nation. Good afternoon, sirs.
Yeah, good afternoon.
From you first, sir.
Good afternoon to you. Right. Right. All over the world, we are engaged in this historic struggle, and we are going to be victorious very soon. We will have our own country, so we can begin to build it in our own image, and not in the image of the Fulani. God bless you. God bless you.
So,
God will us move forward to build a country that will rank among the best in the world.
That's right. Thank you, sir. I'm going to get down to it. I didn't know, sir. Let's hear from you too, sir.
Yeah, Ekushe takun takun. Oduduwa agbeyin o. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí Alana ti wí, a ti ní ìdánilójú wípé a máa gba orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá olómìnira tó dẹ̀ máa jẹ́ orílẹ̀-èdè tó fẹ́ràn ìtẹ̀síwájú tó máa pèsè iṣẹ́ fún gbogbo àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa, tó máa rí pé kò sẹ́ni tí ò níṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́, níbi tí àlàáfíà ti máa jọba, tọkàn gbogbo aráàlú tó máa balẹ̀. Ìdánilójú tí mò ń fún yín nìyí lórúkọ Alànà, torí gbogbo ìgbà làwọn náà máa ń sọ pé irú orílẹ̀-èdè tá a fẹ́ nìyẹn. Inú wa dẹ̀ dùn pé a nírú èèyàn bíi Máyégún tó ń bá wa gbé ìkéde orílẹ̀-èdè olómìnira Yorùbá yìí, tó ń bá wa gbé sókè, tó ń bá wa sọ káàkiri kárí ayé. Ọlọ́run á túbọ̀ máa tún yín ṣe.
Àmín sir.
Ẹ ṣé.
Thank you so much, sir. So, ibi tá ti máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ wa majorly léni ni pé a rí gbogbo setback tí a witness nígbà tí wọ́n attack ilé olóyè Sunday Igboho. We're making so many progress at the time, and we're monitoring the progress until they struck. Now, that setback seems to be over now. So, if we have to do a quick catch up, Baba, you have to relocate back to Benin Republic because of Oluye Sunday Igboho. Do you mind sharing that experience with us before we get deep into this conversation today, sir?
Thank you very much. Yes, I and Deputy Alana, Professor Adenia, were in Benin Republic. We were just in transit. We were planning to move on. But that night we got information that he had been arrested. That Sunday, Igboho had been arrested. And that was within minutes of his arrest. Friends at the airport called us to say, your son has been arrested. And I said, okay. And we moved into action immediately. Within minutes also, we had contacted lawyers to step in, because we know, especially learning from the experience of the leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. We know that the Nigerian government must have a hand in it. And we were right. We were told that night that there was a helicopter ready near the airport to whisk Sunday back to Nigeria. We didn't see the helicopter, but we got credible reports from the airport that that was the situation. So we asked our lawyer to make sure that that would never happen. So the lawyers went out and registered their presence as lawyers for this man who had been arrested at the airport. They didn't know exactly where they had taken him. They didn't immediately know. But then they set out to go and find out, where they had taken him. And they found out and registered that they were the lawyers for this person. That made it impossible for any authority, anybody in Benin Republic to send him to Nigeria without taking him to court. So he went to court. And the situation is that he didn't commit any offense in Benin Republic. He didn't enter their country without proper documentation. He could see in but you understand how these things can happen. That's right. So they decided that they were going to investigate. They were going to investigate. And that was a very good step for them to take, because every country has the right to investigate anything in its territory. That's right. Nigeria cannot say you cannot investigate. So that was a very good thing for us, that they told the Nigerian authorities and the rest of the world that they were investigating, and they should leave us alone to do the investigation. That prevented Sunday from being taken to Nigeria. And you cannot tell them they cannot investigate. So that's the situation until we were then able to step in and begin to negotiate with the authorities of the matter. I cannot say everything here because a lot of it is.
I do.
Very,
And that's what
very
you
highly confidential.
with Professor Adeniro as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the end result is that they agreed with us, and on the terms that, and they have released our son to us. Sunday was released to me as his father.
That's right.
Yeah, because that's what I had been known by for months while he was in the. So Sunday was released to me as his father, and Professor Adenina was enormously. It was a great thing that I had him by my side, because I don't speak French, but he is a professor of French.
Wow.
And so he had in fact taught in a Benin university before in French. So we were a very good team. I could say what we needed to say, and he would interpret them, what I say to them, and interpret what they were saying to me. Occasionally we mix Yoruba with it. They spoke some Yoruba, we speak Yoruba, and so on. But thank God where we are. Sunday is away from, is no longer being held by anybody.
That's right, sir.
Some people have been saying, oh, Daniel sick, go sick, can't at all. There is no sickness. Oh, I release it. No, that's not true. One release one doctor said, no, one release a phone me by me. One release a phone can't.
Thank you so much, sir. So, in Wadun, when the news broke that Oloye Sunday Igboho, has been released. Before then, our diaspora, we felt like we needed to push harder, including those who are, for the forefront of getting this whole thing resolved. And before we could strike, they released him to Alano. And in that regard, we now said, well, that was what gave us the idea into your welfare, how long you've been in Benin Republic, how many other Yorubas who have been making sure that you are as comfortable as you can be over the period and all that. And that was where we came in. We said, okay, if now that the setback is over, the setback of Odin Oloye Sunday Igboho is over, where can we be of help? Where can we be? Or where can we come in? And that was when you told me about you.
Yeah. Yes, we're still in
for some time.
Great. And because of that, we have now come to this conclusion of, okay, what can we do now that the delay is over? What will be the next move? And that's why we want to start with you. I don't mind if Professor Adeniro will chip in, then Alano will also join in that. Where are we going from here? Now that we have gotten to this stage, we know it's not really over. We know so many things are still quite going on the ground. But where are we going from here? I may start with you, sir.
Well, yeah. Mayegun, we cannot afford to lay all our cards on the table.
Right.
Nǹkan tá bá fi pamọ́ ló máa ń níyì. Àwọn tá ń bá tayò, àwọn ò kí ń sọ fún wọn, wọn ò kí ń sọ fún wa. Kí làwọn fẹ́ ṣe sí wa. So bá ṣe máa rìnrìn wa, a gbọ́dọ̀ sọ fún wọn. But certain things are critical at this stage. We should start thinking of diplomatic shuttles to countries that we can identify as being sympathetic to our cause. And there are quite a number of them. Here in Africa, in the Americas, in Europe, in Asia. So that's going to require considerable resources. Secondly, we have to sustain the momentum for Yoruba self-determination at home so that our people continue to agitate and take all necessary steps to protect themselves and to advance the case of an independent Yoruba nation soonest. Gbogbo àwọn tó yẹ kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀, àwọn ọ̀tọ̀nkùlú, àwọn mọ̀jẹ̀sín, ọkùnrin, obìnrin, ọmọdé, àgbà, ìyálọ́jà ni o, àgbẹ̀ ni o, oníṣòwò ni o, awakọ̀ ni o, gbogbo wa pátápátá ní ìsìn a gbọ́dọ̀ àfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀. Torí nǹkan tó gbé Sunday jáde, mo gbọ́dọ̀ sọ ní ìsìn, a gbọ́dọ̀ gbóríyìn fún Professor Banji Akintoye. Torí nígbà tí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣú dẹ̀dẹ̀, tó dàbẹ̀ ni pé kò ní sí mọ́lẹ̀ mọ́ rárá, bàbá yẹn sọ pé ó dijọ́ tán bá fi Sunday Igboho lẹ̀ kóun tó fi Benin lẹ̀. Ibi kọ́ làbọ̀ à ń tẹ̀síwájú nínú àjò ni gbogbo ilé ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀. Nígbà tó ṣẹlẹ̀ until Sunday Igboho is released, I will not leave Benin Republic. And that's how we got smart now. And, you know, fortunately, I think the authorities noticed that there is an elderly scholar of international repute who is a leader of the Yoruba worldwide and who is committed to Sunday Igboho's welfare. Then, of course, an invitation came. We honored the invitation. Like Alan said, we cannot say everything here. Yeah. But apart from paying tribute to Professor Banji Akintoye, we should also thank the Benin authorities because they showed great understanding. So when our compatriots were planning on going to court, either in Arusha or ECOWAS or here in Benin or anywhere in the world, that was why we kept telling them, let's wait a bit, let's take it easy. Right. Some were so impatient. They were saying, no, we've been waiting all these months. We told them, look, we cannot tell you everything that is going on. That's right. Moves were being made behind the scenes. And if we are not going to settle the whole thing, we shouldn't talk. We shouldn't say anything. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀yin àwọn àgbà wa ṣe máa ń sọ, wọ́n ní ẹ má bínú inú lóko ẹyẹ ń gbé. So bó ṣe rí nìyẹn. So nǹkan méjì ló ṣe pàtàkì fún wa ní ìsìn. Àwọn tá a máa kọ́ sí ní gbogbo àgbáyé wọ́n ti wà lẹ́yìn ká lè rí orílẹ̀-èdè wa. Èkejì, ìdáàbòbò ní ilé àti bí ìjàngbara bó ṣe máa túbọ̀ fẹsẹ̀ múlẹ̀ sí tó máa kárí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn, olówó ni o, mẹ̀kúnnù ni o, ọkùnrin ni, obìnrin ni, ọmọdé ni, àgbà ni. Mo rò pé àwọn kan méjì yẹn ló fi wájú ní ìsìn.
Priority. Alano sir.
Ẹ ṣé, mò ń gbọ́.
Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ bá mi kí wọn lẹ́yìn ni. What is lay priority wa báyìí sí? And I believe that I agree with that, if I may say that, sir.
Yes, we are already working on the priorities now.
Great.
We are already making contacts around the world for the Yoruba nation. And we are discovering that we are stronger than we thought.
That's right, sir.
We are discovering that we Yoruba are much stronger than we thought. And that's a happy thing to happen to a nation. Ibita ti saka kiri ibita ati eti de rara. Ẹni tó ń ṣe ọ̀gá wọn pátápátá ń bẹ̀ president àbí prime minister ó sọ pé Professor Akintoye kàn ní university ní America. Ẹlòmíràn wà ní gbébi tó jìnnà tó sọ pé Professor Akintoye kò kọ́ ní university, but he was a very popular man in our university in so place in America. He was a famous professor in our university in America. And so gbogbo wọn yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀, and we are just grateful. And the same thing with Professor Adeniran. Professor Adenira is a graduate of the highest university in France. And that's not a little thing. At the Sorbonne. That's not a little thing. So there are other people who are coming in. There are other people who are coming in and they're offering their support. Men and women.
Something about getting to Yoruba professionals, ideologists, bringing them into, you know what I mean? You told me something similar, that you have that plan as well to broaden.
Yes, we are putting together now the details of Yoruba ideology. It's not a country walasa.
No.
It has to be an ideological approach that will lay down precisely what the Yoruba people are and want to be in the world. And everybody who is working in the context of the Yoruba self-determination struggle,
yes, sir,
will have to agree to that ideology. We have to subscribe to that ideology. We are working on that now. It has come to, we have come to that point
as well.
There are things that it's difficult to say, but we must hint a little here and there.
We need some things.
We must hint here and there. And a white man, a professor of economics,
right,
was talking in a seminar somewhere in Europe. And he said, the philosophy of the white world must be to make sure that Nigeria, that Africa, the world become an industrialized part of the world. We need them to be where they are now. That is, producers of raw materials for us to process and sell back to them. When we allow them to become industrialized, we, the Western world, will suffer seriously. That is a major thing, and our people must recognize the country out of Nigeria is a struggle to create the situation in which we change the logic of Western domination of the world. As I said, we are not antagonistic to any group, but we must show that we are human beings too.
That's right.
And that there is nothing they can do that we cannot do. Our father, Chief Awolowo, used to say, we can do whatever any other group of people in the world can do. As a young man, I believe that very strongly. I think we have now come to the point at which we must go back to it in a very strong and dedicated manner. We want to be a nation that is as strong and well organized and well highly respected in the world.
That's right.
And that is able to take its own decisions that will not be easy for anybody from outside to come and twist around. We must begin to lay the foundation now. And that's where the whole question of an ideology comes in. This is a historic struggle. It's a struggle not only to free the Yoruba people, but to help the Yoruba people to lead the black world in a direction that will give dignity and respect to the black man in the world. I can't say more than that. I have said a little too much. I have said a little too much already. In fact,
well, maybe not. Maybe not. But I love the fact that you are holding back a little as well, or you are holding back a lot. But the little you are giving to us are quite, impressive and promising, I have to say. But let's go back to Professor Adeniran's, summation of what he told us earlier, the priority, and using this momentum that we have now. Something strike you when my name was mentioned to you and what we were doing. And we had a chat around that behind the scene, which you personally told me about your admiration of what we are doing. And finally, I'm bringing you to the people who actually made that happen. So talking about using the momentum, Yorubas coming together all over the world, believing that when an injustice is done to one, it's pretty much like an injustice done to all. And in this case, they didn't just talk. They put actions into our words. And that got your attention. Where you believe that if Yorubas can believe this strongly, then we can build on this. Talking about unity and all that. So priority and our people. So I have my people here and they have you here too. Now, if you have to say, this is it, let's do it. How would you say that? Because somebody said something about, Professor Adeniro said something about finance. You can't do all these beautiful ideas of yours. You can't really make them happen if you don't have a reliable, dependable source of funding. And here we are. The Yorubas have proved that, including our friends who are friends of Yorubas on Mayegun's Diary Politico, they did prove something that got your attention. So if you have to put this in a context, talking about Kachami, using the momentum, Professor Adenirosa, where would you say we should start from? Using the unity word and using this momentum as well, going forward, sir?
Well, like you said, I think we have to reach out to all those who are our own all over the world. You know, the Yoruba, they are not restricted to Nigeria.
That's right.
Now, for instance, the population of the Yoruba in Nigeria is estimated at something between 55 and 60 million. But you have those in Brazil who claim Yoruba identity. And the number, I think, well over 80 million. We have to reach out to them. Then you have them in various sizes. In the Latin American countries, in the Caribbeans, you have them in North America, you have them in Europe. We have to reach out to them where they are so that they know that they are reckoned with and that they have a contribution to make in ensuring that the Yoruba take their rightful place in the world among the community of nations. So what we are doing is not just for Yoruba alone, it's for the entire black race, as Alan has pointed out. But to be able to do that, we have to rally all the Yoruba in the world. And we have to be conscious of the fact that there are Yoruba people in Brazil who may not be as dark-skinned as you and I are, Mayegun, but who are very proud of that Yoruba identity. We have to carry them along. We have to bring them on board. That is very crucial. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Then I'll go to Alano. Here we are. Maybe you are the right person to even talk about galvanizing and then, encouraging all the Yorubas and those who have the Yorubas interest attached, right? To what? To concentrate their energy, their resources genuinely towards what can really bring about that Yoruba nation. Baba, if you have to put it in your own words, right? How do we do that?
Yes, we are, as I said, we are a very strong nation.
Yes, sir.
And from time to time, individuals arise among us who exemplify that strength. It's very good for the Yoruba nation. Actually, I interviewed an old man in 1963 when I was doing my research for my PhD thesis. In 1963, I was interviewing a group of chiefs in Ikino, and they told me, they asked me, have you interviewed the Yoruba? Obagun is a small town like, you know. The Olobagun at that time, Oba Adekansola, the Olobagun, was a very old man, but very knowledgeable about Yoruba traditions and so on. So I went to interview him. I interviewed him for 3 days. And one of the things he said to me that has stuck in my mind, that has guided my steps in attending to the affairs of the Yoruba nation is this. So we Yoruba were made from the beginning to be a great nation. That's right. No matter what happens, we can never become a small nation. God Olodumare has arranged, has our earliest ancestors entered into a contract with Olodumare, so that there are people who are lined up to come into the Yoruba nation at critical moments in the history of the Yoruba nation. When it looks as if the Yoruba nation is sleeping or suffering or whatever, then they will pop up and they will lead the Yoruba nation far forward. And they will never, there are so many that they will never cease coming. Sometimes there may be two together. Often you may not even recognize them, but they will keep coming. Sometimes the gap between one and the next one may be very long, maybe years or decades. But when the time comes for somebody to come and wake the Yoruba nation up, that one will come. That is the secret of the power of the Yoruba nation. We can never become, no matter what anybody may, all of these things that they are doing in Nigeria cannot make the Yoruba become a small nation. It's not going to happen. We are going to be right there in the forefront in the world at all times. It was a big thing to ponder, and I keep pondering it today, and I keep living upon it today. The Yoruba nation will rise, but the important thing we must recognize that a lot of the rising will occur through individuals who begin to do things that are unusual. Like a 36-year-old young man called a meeting in London in 1945 and say, let us form Egbe Omo Oduduwa. 30-something years old young man. The fellow of today is our father, but he was a boy too at some time, and he was just a boy at the time that he was calling a meeting of Egbe Omo Oduduwa. That is it. Samuel Ajayi Crowther was a poor village boy who was seized and taken away to slavery. And he came back to teach the Yoruba people how to write their language, and gave the orthography not only to the Yoruba language, but to the languages of some other people in what is now Nigeria.
That's right.
They will always keep coming. Such people will always keep coming. When I heard that there was an effort being made by one young man called Mayegun, you don't, because I've never had the name before, I've never met him before, I didn't pay much attention. But then what struck me is that people began to call me. People of good repute with me. People whom I trust, people whom I know, began to call me, Baba, or this Mayegun, I know him. He's a dependable person, he's a reliable person, and he's very patriotic and loyal to the Yoruba cause. Okay. Oh, we will go and introduce you to him. I'll introduce listen to you or whatever.
Right.
And the number of people coming to me and to Professor Adenina just so I said, okay, let's find out what is happening here. And so your group invited me, and I truth is that
yeah, we can hear you. It's breaking up a bit. Don't break up there, Bob. I'm going, sir.
Yeah, among the people who know you, who have interacted with you, who have done things with you in the world, you are regarded with great respect. They tell me that you are a man of great integrity. In this struggle, we should give it to such a person in the struggle. And I'm glad that I'm a servant. I'm a servant of the Yoruba nation. When I encounter this kind of information, I react to them. I respond to them. I responded to the question, to the information. And I'm glad that more and more of the people who know you have been coming to me to say the same thing. There are people here in Nigeria just next door, who are banking business and business and this, that. And they say, Baba, this is somebody we can recommend very highly to you. So that's the situation. Yeah, my son, I mustn't appear to be flattering my son. I'm not flattering you. I'm telling you what the information that has come to me. And I am happy that I have found you to be what they say you are. I'm very glad. I'm very proud of you. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
But so we have our agenda, which will require a lot of resources. A lot of countries now want us to send people to come and see them, and we must be strong enough to do so. Fortunately, there is another effort being made to create a Yoruba National Fund. As a matter of fact, I'll be holding a meeting with those people tonight, and it is possible that next Saturday we will be able to announce to the world that the Yoruba National Fund has been created. And I mentioned that to you, and I loved your response. You said, oh, okay, we can be the receptacle of funds. And the other two can also be, but whoever wants to come and take any resources from us to do anything for the Yoruba nation, we will ask them to go to the Yoruba National Fund, which will have all the machinery. The way it is being planned, it will have the machinery. It will have a board of trustees of highly regarded Yoruba people. It will have a committee that will assess every request for funds. It will be, and the funds will be issued by an accounting firm, and then there will be an audit company that will audit the account regularly and make the audit. So the way they are planning it is gorgeous. And that's why I said, just let us wait, because I love what I'm hearing from these people. So so they will have the machinery, and the other fund you said it will be.
They suggested that we'll call it Yoruba Rescue Fund.
Rescue Fund, yes.
Okay. The outside land.
So, yeah, outside
the source. Yeah.
So that other fund and this Yoruba Center and the Yoruba National Fund working together, hand in hand. Beautiful plan, beautiful idea. And I'm very happy that the idea came from you. It's not I who put it forward and said this is what we should do. No, it was I was very joyful when you brought up that kind of suggestion, and I'm very proud. I'm proud to be a Yoruba man. We are unique people in the world.
Yes,
The world will begin to see it soon. Yeah, I say it proudly. I talk proudly wherever I go, and I talk a lot to highly placed people, especially in the academic world.
Yes.
And I think the idea is there now, well planted, that these Yoruba people are going to do something wonderful in the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Before I come to you, let me quickly say this.
Yes, sir.
That the Yoruba all over the world, the population of Yoruba all over the world is estimated at about was from 10 years ago estimated at over 200 million. Now, you can pick up Paula Abimbola's book on Yoruba culture. It's not voluminous. Very interesting reading. It tells you about the Yoruba culture and the strength of the Yoruba culture all over the world. So we are a very big nation, as the Alana said. We are big, we are powerful, and we are a proud people. Now to you, Mayogun.
Yes, sir.
The first person to speak to me about you happens to be my guru from Ile-Ife, Dele Odesami. He spoke of you in such, how shall I put it, glowing terms that I got curious. Okay, Baba, what almost often you? Ọmọ gidi ni ọkùnrin tó ń jẹ́ Máyégún yẹn. Ó dependable gan. Owó kọ́ ló ń wá. Ó ní program tiẹ̀ tó fi ń pawó táwọn èèyàn máa ń tune sí thousands lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀. Ó ṣùgbọ́n eléyìí tó ń ṣe fún Yorùbá nation yìí. Ó believe nínú ẹ̀ gan ni o. So he had been always talking to me about Mayegun in the past, shall I say, 8 weeks.
Wow.
Then someone very dear to Professor Akintoye, and whom I like and respect, Dr. Shoname, a top flight banker from the finance sector, called me up one night and started talking to me about you. Using such terms as dependable, honest, straightforward, committed, fearless. And I said, look, I want to meet this gentleman. This is the kind of person we should be dealing with. So that's what brought us together. People from various sectors of life saying same thing about you. When Professor Akintoye and I say this, we are not trying to flatter you. You happen to be one Yoruba person that nobody has spoken to us negatively about.
Wow.
No Yoruba person has spoken to us, to Professor Akintoye de Alana and my humble self, about you in any negative time.
That's amazing.
That is,
thank you.
It's more than amazing. It's remarkable. I can't believe it. You know, because we Yoruba people are very critical. We are very critical of each other. We criticize ourselves, you know, I would say very harshly. So to see one of us who is being spoken of in glowing terms by almost everybody is something unique. So that name that you have made for yourself, may it never get tarnished.
Amen to that.
May you hand it over to your children unblemished.
Amen, sir. Thank you so much. So if I have to say to these my two fathers who are so much, I'm so honored to actually be in the same room with you, because we have to use the studio term. We are in the same room right now. It's an honor. Yeah. So can we say that we, through Alano, can we then say we want to call on the Yorubas all over the world, right? That Mayegun is presentable to oversee the generation of interest and resources towards discourse of ours back home. can we put that and make it official and say we have a Yoruba Rescue Fund, which I am going to go and work on before we make it public? But can we say that is the goal for now, sir? Alano.
Yeah, yes, that's one of our major goals now. And I want to put it before the Yoruba people all over the world. Listen to this very carefully. There have been all sorts of funds and so on. There have been funds that have made my heart bleed. People say, "Oh, I want to fight check and come." Go fund me, and all they do is to fund themselves.
I just on their land.
Yeah, you know, I am father to all. I don't renounce or denounce any of my children, but I know what I know. I know that a lot of money has flowed from the pockets of large numbers of Yoruba people to accounts that never made it to the Yoruba struggle. But this one, I can say to the Yoruba people, let us do this one. Let's give this one a big shot. And I believe that we will not regret it. I believe that we will not regret it. I repeat, I believe that we will not regret it. I believe that it will contribute greatly to the future of the Yoruba struggle and of the Yoruba nation when it is born. So I ask all Yoruba people all over the world, let us do this one. Let us support this one. Let us put our resources together in this one. Later, another week, there will be the Yoruba National Fund, which will be a really huge thing.
Yes.
We will have the two of them working together. And I'm confident that this one will contribute a great deal to the success of the whole project.
Yes. So, I'm
inviting you all.
Sorry,
Let's
sir.
Yeah,
a quick one, sir. I want to tell my friends what I told you about this idea that actually really fascinated you, got your attention, that earned your trust about it. You saw what we did with the fundraiser I am supervising right now. And with the little information you've heard about that, you have been so impressed that the transparency, the accountability, figure for figure, and those are the little things that impressed people. That, oh, it's so transparent. We know how much we got. We know how much is pending.
Yeah.
How much we have left. That idea was what brought about the Yoruba Rescue Fund, which is the same as fully reserved for the Yoruba nation struggle. The job of this fund is to be gathered like what we just did. And then the Yoruba National Fund, which is going to be your own brainchild, including everybody that will be in it, right? They will have access to every fund that comes from the Yoruba Rescue Fund, which they will then discuss. That was the idea behind it, sir. Professor Adeniro, you might want to add that.
Yeah, I just want to chip in a word.
Please.
You know, when we are writing a recommendation for our brilliant students who want to pursue postgraduate studies elsewhere or even at the university where we are teaching, we use